Let's travel back in time to the ancient Indian city of Rajagaha. It's this incredible place, totally ringed by 5 big mountains. But there's one mountain with a name that, well, it sounds less like a place and more like something out of a dark legend. Isigili. So why on earth was this mountain known as the Sage Swallower?
So our story kicks off with the Buddha himself. Picture this. He's gathered with his monks right there at the foot of this exact mountain. He just points up and asks this really simple question, getting them to look, but not just at the rock and trees, but at its long and kind of mysterious history.
And this is where things get really interesting. The Buddha starts off by pointing out something super unusual about Isigili. It's not about what the mountain is right now, but what it has always been.
He points to the other big-name mountains nearby, Vebhara, Pandava, Vepula, even Gijakuta. And he explains that over the years, all of these famous spots have had different names. Times change, names change, but not Isigili. Nope, its name has stayed exactly the same, this one constant title, down through the ages.
So that's the central puzzle, right? What is so special about this one mountain and its name that it just stuck? Well, the answer is tangled up in this old local legend.
The Buddha then starts sharing this bit of local folklore, the story that the people of Rajagaha have been telling each other for generations, to explain that seriously creepy name. It's a tale all about mystery and just vanishing.
He tells them that a long, long time ago, this fairy mountain was home to 500 Pakeka Buddhas. Now, these were sages who reached enlightenment all on their own, living quiet lives of deep contemplation. They were deeply respected, but also kind of mysterious figures.
And here's where the story gets its spooky vibe. The local people, they'd see these 500 sages walking up the mountain paths, heading into the forests and the caves. But once they went in, they were gone. Poof! They were never, ever seen coming back down.
So when you're faced with a mystery like that, what do? The people came to a pretty chilling conclusion. They started saying to each other, "This mountain swallows these sages." That exact phrase became the go-to explanation for why everyone kept disappearing.
And boom, that's it. That is the direct origin of the name. Isigili means sages, and Giladi means it swallows. You mash them together, and you get Isigilati, the sage swallower. For generations, that was the mountain's whole identity, a place you don't come back from. But the Buddha is about to flip this entire legend on its head.
See, the Buddha doesn't tell this story just to share some scary folktale. He's actually telling it to correct the record and, more importantly, to finally pay tribute to all of those who were lost to memory. He makes it clear, the mountain didn't swallow anyone. It wasn't a monster. It was their sanctuary. It was their final resting place, the spot where they achieved their ultimate peace. The people saw them go in, sure, but what they didn't see was that the sages had simply finished their journey right there. So to fix this whole legend and truly honor these forgotten figures, the Buddha says he's going to do something nobody has ever done. He is going to recite their names, pulling these 500 anonymous sages out of the shadows of myth and right into the light of history.
What happens next is honestly one of the most incredible moments you'll find in the texts. It's not a lecture, it's not some deep philosophical debate, it's a memorial. It's an honor roll for those who found enlightenment in complete silence.
Just try to imagine it. 500 individuals. Every single one had their own unique path, their own struggles, their own incredible moment of awakening. And for centuries, they were just a number in a scary story. But now, they're about to be remembered. And so he begins. Arito, Upareto, Tagarasiki, Yasasi. With every name spoken, a life is reclaimed from being forgotten.
The list just keeps going, like this rhythmic chant of remembrance. Sambo, Sumbo, Matulo, Atamano. These weren't ghosts swallowed by a mountain. They were great beings, and they had names that deserved reverence. He continues on, naming them in little groups. Anando, Nando, Upanando. It's this powerful reminder that even the people who walk a path of solitude are still part of a larger community, all connected by that shared goal of freedom.
Bodhi, Mahanamo, Uttaro, Kesi. The Buddha recites name after name, making absolutely sure that the legacy of these sages wouldn't be one of fear, but one of inspiration for everyone to come. So why? Why go through the trouble of reciting this huge list of names? Well, because what the Buddha did reveals something so profound about memory, about legacy, and about the sheer power of a name itself.
This is really the heart of it all. When the Buddha named these sages, he wasn't just making a list. He was making sure that all their effort, all their quiet striving, wasn't for nothing. He was preserving their legacy of wisdom and making it a living part of the tradition.
And that's the big transformation. The Buddha took a scary local superstition and turned it into a beautiful, timeless memorial. Isigili was no longer the sage swallower, it became the sacred home of 500 enlightened beings, a place of honor, not a place of fear.
And that kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? The Buddha chose to preserve a legacy by speaking the names that everyone else had forgotten. In our world, which is filled with so much noise, what stories, what names, and what legacies are we going to choose to remember and carry forward?